Well, if you're a gun voter in Gillette, you've got a choice to make in the upcoming August 20 Republican Party primary. State Senator Troy McKeown or his challenger, Phil Christopherson. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the Wyoming Senate? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Wyoming Gun Owners. The August primary is coming very fast now, and in Campbell County, Gillette in particular, we're being asked by our members about this primary between Senator Troy McKeown and his challenger, Phil Christopherson. And I want to be clear on this, you're not asking us who says they're pro-gun, because by now we all know this. In Wyoming, in a Republican Party primary, everyone claims to be pro-gun. Everyone claims to be a champion, a hero, a fighter. And as we know, so often in Cheyenne, we see the exact opposite. So the question you're asking us is not who says they're pro-gun, but rather, who do we know that we can trust? How do we know who we can put our confidence in that if we send this person to Cheyenne, they'll actually fight for our gun rights and not join the rhino swamp? Guys, we can't tell you who to vote for in this video. What we are going to do is give you guys all the information we have on these two candidates. We're going to combine our candidate survey program, public statements made by the candidates, and voting histories in the case of Senator McKeown to give you guys a lot of details to help you make your own most informed decision. And I'm going to begin with Phil Christopherson. The story here is actually pretty simple. Philip bombed his candidate survey with Wyoming gun owners. You see, we issue a survey to candidates at election time to get a snapshot of how would you vote on this? How would you vote on that? Because we want to know details and detailed answers on various Second Amendment questions. Two of the main questions on this year's survey dealt with the need for special sessions and the need to override gubernatorial vetoes, and we all know why. This year we passed House Bill 125. It would get rid of deadly gun-free zones here in Wyoming. Governor Gordon, who promised he would sign this when he ran for office, of course, is a liar, broke his promise and vetoed that bill. We then made a push to call for a special session. We had enough votes in the Senate, not enough votes in the House, and the bill died. So this year we're asking people at election time, hey, if you win, and if we pass pro-gun bills and the governor vetoes, would you call for a special session? And number two, if that session is invoked, would you vote to override the governor's veto? And Phil Christopherson said no to both of those questions. He would not call for a special session. He would not vote to override a governor's veto, even if that meant your gun rights suffer for it. That is an extremely huge red flag, and frankly, I'm surprised he dared put that in writing. So guys, that's the recap on Christopherson. Very bad answers on his survey. He certainly seems to be being propped up by the rhino class here in Wyoming. Be very careful about him when it comes to your gun rights. That brings up Senator Troy McKeown. Now, for those who don't know, Troy was elected 4 years ago when he ran against former Senator Michael von Flatteren. That campaign was heavily gun-focused. Now, no surprise, Troy's been a very huge leader in the fight for gun rights now for the last 4 years in Cheyenne. This cycle, no surprise, Troy surveyed 100% pro-gun with Wyoming gun owners. That's always a good sign. You can see his survey on our website right now. But much more important than his written promises are his deeds, his actions. What has he actually done in Cheyenne? I could give you about a dozen different votes that he has cast in the last 4 years, but frankly, the whiteboard lacks the space. I'm going to give you the big ones. 2022. Let's see, this was February 18, 2022, House Bill 133, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. We all know what SAPA is, I think, by now. SAPA tells the federal government, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or heaven knows who the nominee is, that in Wyoming, you're not going to get to use our resources, our cops, troopers, our deputies to enforce federal gun control laws. We need this because, well, we have a pro-gun state. If our law enforcement community is taken, basically, by the feds to enforce federal gun control laws, our pro-gun state won't matter near as much. A lot of people were opposed to that bill. Troy was a yes vote. It was House Bill 133, February 18, 2022. Look that up and verify it for yourself. And I want to be clear on this. Be suspicious, folks. At election time, be suspicious of candidates. look up things, Google stuff, look around. I'm going to give you bill numbers and dates today, but make sure and do your own digging. That was SEPA 2022. Also in 2022, down here at the bottom, down the bottom of the board, Senator McKeown was a yes vote on a very critical gun rights amendment on House Bill 49. This was March 7, 2022, and the bill dealt with campaign finance law. Now, it might seem to be a step removed from gun rights, but it's not, and here's the reason why. You see, WIGO is hated by the ruling elites here in Cheyenne, hated by the rhinos, and hated by a bunch of our media outlets, and we love it. We're fine with that. Doesn't bother us at all. And as everyone knows, the legislature has been trying to muzzle us to prevent us from doing videos just like this in the primaries. And the reason for it is very simple. WIGO members have destroyed rhino careers across the state for a very long time, and everyone knows it, and they're terrified of it. And they're trying to put a muzzle on WIGO. Now, as you guys know, we sued in federal court. We kicked the state's butt in district court, circuit court, case closed. We're good to go. To give you guys these kind of informational videos. But back in 2022, Senator McKeown was joining the team trying to oppose the state's effort to clamp down on our right to give you this information. So there was an amendment on that campaign finance bill, House Bill 49, that would protect a non-for-profit organization like WIGO and our ability to give you guys information at election time. Dozens and dozens and dozens of rhinos in Cheyenne opposed that amendment. They wanted to muzzle us permanently, and thankfully Senator McKeown was on the right side of that issue, voted pro-gun to allow us to have our free speech rights. From there, it gets a lot more current, a lot more recent. This session, 2024, we passed Senate File 109, which banned red flag gun seizures in Wyoming forever. Senator McKeown was allowed a yes vote on that and argued for it on the floor. A very strong support there from Senator McKeown. The same thing for House Bill 125. This is our bill to get rid of deadly gun-free zones in Wyoming, the bill that, of course, Governor Gordon went ahead and vetoed later on when the session was over. But during that fight, Senator McKeown was there for us. I want to also mention there was 4 harmful amendments, 3 or 4 harmful amendments offered on that bill by rhinos in the Senate, by Republicans in the Senate, that would weaken gun-free zone repeal. One of them, for example, would exempt hospitals. One would exempt schools. One would say you had to notify places in advance if you were going to come and carry concealed on those properties. All harmful amendments. The senator was a no vote on all of those. That was March 6th of this year on House Bill 125. Again, look it up for yourself and you can verify all of this. And that brings us up to just a couple of months ago, because after Governor Gordon vetoed the bill, then the big fight in Cheyenne was to get enough votes to call for a special session. This is what oftentimes separates the men from the boys. A lot of guys and gals can vote yes on a gun bill on the floor on final passage. The question is, what will they do when the fight really heats up between the rhinos and conservative lawmakers like Senator McKeown? And in this case, he was an absolute yes vote on the call for a special session to override Governor Gordon's veto. So guys, when it comes to Senator McKeown, pretty simple. 4 years of fighting for gun rights, 100% pro-gun candidate survey. He's been yes on all the gun bills on the floor. He's been no on all of the gun control amendments on the floor. Called for a special session. And one last thing, this guy, I mean, he is hated. He is hated by the rhinos in Cheyenne, just like WIGO is. That's a very encouraging sign, or it should be, for gun voters. So guys, the recap is simple. If you see Troy McKeown, thank him for 4 years of fighting for your gun rights. Thank him for his pledge to do so again for the next 4 years and for all of his pro-gun votes. And if you see Phil Christopherson, ask him, why won't you call for a special session? Why won't you vote to override a gubernatorial veto? We can't pass pro-gun bills if people like you will go to Cheyenne and side with the rhinos. Ask him that question, guys, and see what he has to say. That's our recap in this race, guys. Do me a favor, make sure and share it on social media. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on our website. Wherever you're watching this, share it. Make sure everyone else has the facts about these 2 candidates. Then, guys, get involved in the fight today at joinwygo.com.